Green Day has always been one of my favorite bands. Um, in the paper, I go over discovering them for the first time. Um, I was probably 13 or so at the time, and I was listening to, I can't even remember what the song was, but it was the song before, and Feel Good Incorporated came on. After that, it was a lot more rock poppy than I was used to at the time. I didn't listen to anything with guitar in it for the most part as like an actual instrument, maybe a sample or something, but not too seriously. So the idea of the song having a rap section in the middle was very appealing to me. We gon' ghost town, this Motown with your sound, you in the blink, gon' bite the dust, can't fight with us. With your sound, you kill the ink. So I listened to that and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. At first I was like, oh, the song's whatever, but the bass line was kind of cool. So I was like, oh, this is great. So listening to it further, I finish up and I start to see the imagery of the next video. Now, the interesting thing is, just maybe a few days previously, my aunt was watching another Green Day music video, Wake Me Up When September Ends. And I remember like recalling to her and saying like, why are you watching this? And I thought it was a TV show or something, because if you watch the video, it's a very long intro. There's a young man who is going to war in order to provide for his family. The family at the moment being his girlfriend. And obviously he wants to have kids with her, and the only way he sees that to do that, with his trajectory being kind of a high school dropout, is to enlist. And she's very angry by this, by the, you know, he might die. So it's very angry and very emotional. So be sure to watch that music video, it's great. Wake Me Up When September Ends. Green Day is awesome.
Forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends.
You didn't. Tell me you didn't.
Do what?
Tell me you didn't do it.
Do what?
Tell me you didn't do it, please. Please tell me you didn't do it. Oh my God. Oh my
Out of all people you would understand. Why don't you understand? I did this for us! I did it for us! This is supposed to make it easier! I thought you'd be proud of me. I thought at least of all people you would understand why I did this!
Oh God. Oh my God.
So after seeing that, I did kind of have a little bit of a different feeling about them already. But Holiday was something special, because I remember seeing the imagery of the airplanes coming through. And then the bomb doors open and you see these big bombs come. They say Green Day on them. And then the drums start, the guitars start. The guitars are subtle at first, right? They're really unassuming. But then the drums start, and they're very dominant, very powerful. And then all of a sudden he scratches on the guitar. He couldn't do a scratch most of the time, but he scratched on the guitar, and off he goes. Inside of the falling rain. It was crazy. It was like unlike anything that I'd seen at that time before, really, and it was really cool. The music video was awesome, also really awesome, and I love how their night of debauchery and sin ends up with the car breaking down and halting to a stop, which begins the next music video, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Fantastic.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
But yeah, I started listening to more and more, and I realized how awesome they were, and they kind of set me on a whole musical journey. When I was 14, I got my first guitar. It was an all-black Epiphone Gibson with the Epiphone little 10-watt amp. I had a little pipe tuner, and you blow in there. It was awful for tuning your instrument, honestly. Nowadays kids have come on with clip-on tuners, electric, digital tuners, much easier. So I ended up tuning by ear a lot of the times, using the piano, which is way easier than trying to use the little pipe. And I would use the piano at school. I didn't have one, but that is kind of the beginning of my musical journey. And these guys, Green Day, are the reason why it all started. So today we're going to take a look at these guys. We're going to talk about how they kind of got started, and I'm going to play for you some of my favorite songs by them that kind of taught me how to be a musician, as well as play the guitar and be a songwriter, and how to all kinds of amazing things. Kind of grow as a musician, special. So here we go. Green Day's first record label was Lookout Records. He, as being Billy Joe Armstrong and the rest of the guys, started playing at Gilman Street. And Gilman Street was owned and ran basically by this guy who was in a band called The Lookouts. And so he made Lookout Records. They actually have a record I ordered from them, and this is the collection of Lookout Records live at Gilman Street, live at 924 Gilman Street, January 2017. A bunch of the old bands came out, and they replayed all the old stuff. Now, I don't know a lot of these guys, but if you're into Bay Area 90s punk, I'd have heard of the Jimmys, Black Fork, Corrupted Morals. I assume the better ones are at the bottom, because of The Last Day, Nuisance, Juke, Wayona Riders. Interesting band names, to say the least. This is the first real record that Green Day put out, and it is called Dookie. And there's incredible artwork on it. So the first two records, 1039 Smooth Out Slappy Hours and Kerplunk, were recorded with Lookout, which they were super grateful for, obviously. They loved them, but they didn't have the best equipment. So they actually ended up signing to Reprise to do Dookie. And I think some of the best examples you can get from these moments is the difference between the Kerplunk version of Welcome to Paradise and the Dookie version of Welcome to Paradise. Even if you're not really inclined with audio, and seeing those little differences, you will recognize a huge difference from those two, simply because of the quality of studio that they went to from Lookout, which is relatively small, and going to Dookie. And Lookout at the time, in the early 90s, the album Kerplunk was their biggest selling record. It was huge. They had no idea what to do with them, so they left on good terms, and they ended up doing Dookie at Reprise, and Dookie sold 40 million copies. The number one single from that was Basket Case. It was fantastic, so I'm gonna play that one for you now. Next up, we're going to try something a little lighter. Green Day has always had incredible guitar riffs. Distorted guitar riffs, power chords, whole nine. But they have been known to go a little bit lighter. So now let's do a softer song called Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, which I do believe was in the last episode of ER, I want to say? Anyway, here's the song. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test known as life. It's not a question, just a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, and in the end is right. I hope you have the time of your life. If I had a video cataloging all the things that I learned from this band, it'd probably be several hours long. So, let's leave it at that, and hopefully you can find some of the joy that I found in this band, and maybe even this video, that I have over the years. So listen to their newest records. They have brand new albums that just came out last year, 2025 and 24. They're still making music, they're still touring, and hopefully I'll get to see them someday. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.